Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
You know, it's best if we just come right out and say it off the top here. There's a very real chance there could be snow on the ground by the end of the weekend.
Wow, that is big. Also, it is a big cause for concern. COVID cases way up over the past 2 days. So what's behind this major spike as we're now in the midst of a fourth surge?
We're going to begin, though, with breaking news happening in Macomb County, where a crash involving a passenger van has sent 14 people to the hospital. We're glad you're with us at 5. It happened this afternoon on Hall Road right near Garfield.
And that's almost directly across from Partridge Creek. Our Tim Pamplin at the scene and has a close look at what happened.
I'm being told this rollover collision occurred when somebody at the last minute tried to get in the turn lane here along M59 Hall Road. We're between Garfield and Romeo Plank. We got some chopper video. Let's go to that as I tell you about who was in this minivan. It's owned by an organization called Creative Empowerment Opportunities. They serve individuals with intellectual disabilities, folks on the autism spectrum, and those that are physically challenged and those in recovery from mental illnesses. This minivan was transporting special needs adults, I'm being told. No juveniles on board when they got tangled up with that black SUV, sending the white van rolling. So back down here on the ground, all 14 adults that were on board that minivan taken to the hospital, some of them in extremely critical condition. The investigation just getting underway as to who's at fault here. That is the scene along Hall Road. Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
All right, Tim, more to come on that, of course. Breaking news, though, right now from Washington, the Department of Justice has announced former Donald Trump advisor Steve Bannon has been indicted by a federal grand jury for failing to cooperate with the House committee investigating the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. He faces 2 counts of contempt of Congress, each count carrying a maximum of a year in jail. It's the first time in 38 years that someone has been criminally charged with contempt of Congress.
Our other top story this Friday night, State Representative Jewel Jones of Inkster is getting out of the Livingston County Jail.
Of course, he's been there since mid-September when a judge revoked his bond after a number of bond violations. We bring in Rod Maloney live in Howell. In another twist here, the prosecutor is offering a plea deal, Rod.
Yeah, Devin, first of all, I want to say that Jewel Jones has not bonded out. He remains in the jail. He has not posted his bond, and so we're watching that. Now, here's the plea deal, really quickly. It's been reduced to 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer. It was 4. He's also charged in possession of a gun while intoxicated and operating while intoxicated. These all are counts that he would probably plead guilty to. At least that's what the prosecutor says. Plead guilty to this and we'll do the rest. Now, they've added this attempted escape and recklessness, and they're dismissing the second felonies, and that's the second case felonies. But the reason I'm showing you all of this with my bad penmanship is that if in fact he takes this plea deal, these 2 charges actually go away. Representative Jewel Jones appeared in court today not once, but twice. The first time, it was all about whether he could get his revoked bond reduced and reinstated. Judge Michael Hattie decided 60 days in jail was enough to send the message.
Basically, Mr. Jones, I don't want any excuses. I just want you to follow my orders and then we'll be able to go forward, all right? Sir.
With that, Jones only needs $10,000 cash to bond out of the Livingston County Jail. But that bond comes with many strings attached. First, when he bonds out, it will be under the direct supervision of the Reverend Paul Turner Jr. Turner is pastor of the Spiritual Israel Church and its army, but also runs a substance abuse program Jones must now attend. Jones will live in the Reverend Turner's downtown Detroit home. Jones must also observe a 9 p.m. curfew unless at church services or working late legislative sessions or meetings. As a reserve police officer, Jones must now turn over all police equipment to Inkster Police. He also must wear 2 tethers, one for alcohol, the other for monitoring location. The judge said 1 slip-up, and Jones is out $200,000 in cash.
Do you have to be somewhere?
Yes, Your Honor.
The second appearance was for that plea deal, and Jones' defense attorney Byron Nolan told Local 4.
It's a very tough decision. The only thing that makes it palatable is the Holmes Youthful Training Act, because once he finished the probation, those would come off his record. The felonies would come off his record. So that's what he has to consider.
So the pastor was here just after noontime. They were having lunch. He couldn't bond out, but we have been here all afternoon, and we've just been into the jail, and they have told us that no one has posted his bond. So until that happens, he must remain here, and in the meantime, they can post it at any time. So the question is, will he actually bond out tonight or even say over the weekend? We'll have to check and see. Reporting live in Howell, Rod Maloney, Local 4.
Okay, Rod. Well, we've made it to the weekend, and as I mentioned off the top here, fair chance we'll see a little bit of snow this weekend.
You know, Paul did warn us. He said it was coming, but anytime it really
Doesn't
does
help.
come, it still gives you a little bit of nervous shakes there, a little bit. Hey, Paul.
Well, you know, I'm Mr. Glasses Half Full, and it's going to happen on a weekend. I mean, we're all inside watching football anyway, right? All right, so there. Well, the glass is half full of snow, Devin said. You're right. All right, Storm Tracker 4 showing just some scattered showers around. The most notable showers here in northern Oakland County. And these areas of yellow where you see a little heavier downpour, don't be surprised if you're getting some sleet in some of these areas. Ortonville, you're getting it pretty good right now. I also just went through Holly there. And up in the thumb, just a few scattered light showers here in Sanilac County. You can see one just moving through Port Sanilac right now. So right now, you can see live on our Mount Clemens sky cam, a lot of clouds. 45 in Detroit, 39 at Howell, 46 in Port Huron, 42 in Adrian, and it's breezy out there. Friday football frenzy or whatever you have planned this evening, look at an average temperature of around 40 degrees, wind chill colder than that. We'll talk about that Sunday forecast in great detail in just a few, guys.
All right, Paul, let's move now to a major jump in the number of new coronavirus cases in Michigan. 15,878 cases over the past 2 days. So the average now getting close to 8,000, 7,900 cases per day. However, big asterisk, the state is noting the total includes results that were delayed earlier in the week. You may recall we reported on the reporting delay back on Monday. 83 new deaths, though, also being reported, including 43 that come from a vital records review.
Now, take a look at the 7-day moving average over the past 3 weeks. All the way back on October 29th, we were averaging 3,400 cases per day. Today, that average sits at more than 4,400. And while Michigan is still in the midst of our fourth wave, the country as a whole is actually bracing for a fifth wave of COVID.
With cold weather driving more people in many states back indoors, the holidays approaching, there's concern cases are beginning to surge again. 24 states are reporting a double-digit increase in cases over the past 2 weeks, including Michigan. The ebb and flow of the virus now feeling all too familiar. But experts predict this winter's surge won't be the same as last year's, with 7 in 10 adults now fully vaccinated. And fresh hope that vaccinating kids will help reduce transmission further. Nearly 1 million children ages 5 to 11 have already gotten their first shot.
I think that the parents who have gotten vaccinated themselves are probably going to take their children to be vaccinated, and they should.
Right now, kids account for about a quarter of all cases in the U.S. And with vaccination efforts for them just beginning, public health experts are urging schools not to drop mask requirements prematurely.
There's a storm in the horizon, and it's coming over. Yes, I think it's too soon to lift mandates for masks, especially in children at this point.
A storm on the horizon and a nation increasingly tired of seeking shelter. The FDA is reviewing data on whether or not to authorize booster shots for all adults, but experts do agree the primary focus should be on vaccinating the unvaccinated and getting boosters for the most vulnerable. Right now, only a third of eligible seniors have received their booster shot.
He is accused of hitting a 6-year-old girl with his car and never stopping. That Dearborn child, Batul Afadawi, died, and he was in court today. Sean Lay live with new information. And Sean, we've learned this guy should never have been on the road in the first place.
Karen, because the judge just said that Collins has never, ever held a driver's license and should never have been behind the wheel. He's now charged with 1 felony, which is leaving the scene of a deadly accident, charged with 2 misdemeanors, the judge calling this an absolute tragedy. 18-year-old Jayon Collins making his first court appearance this afternoon from a video feed from the lockup inside the Dearborn Police Department. Police say the teen was the one behind the wheel of an SUV. Witnesses say speeding down a very narrow side street in Dearborn last Sunday afternoon where there were dozens of kids outside playing. 6-year-old Batul Al-Fadawi ran into the street to get a ball that was stuck under a car. The instant she stood up, the driver of the SUV hit her head on. 19th District Court Judge Gene Hunt reiterating what all of Dearborn has been feeling.
This is a terrible tragedy.
A tragedy, but it's also a hit and run. The sound of the incident was so loud, so jarring. Police say the driver knew something was hit and hit hard. But police say Collins did not stop. And the judge says Jayon Collins should have never been allowed to drive any vehicle. He didn't have a driver's license. He's never tried to get a driver's license.
So you did operate a motor vehicle upon Bingham Street, a highway, while you had never applied for a license.
Collins' defense attorney did express these thoughts to the family of the 6-year-old girl.
First, our deepest condolences to the victim's family. This is undoubtedly an all-around tragedy.
Tragedy indeed. Collins now being held on a $5,000 bond. If he makes that bond, he'll be on a GPS tether. Guys, Collins, keep in mind, he turned himself in 4 days after the deadly accident. Attorneys we're talking to say that Devin takes toxicology off the table here. They'll never know if he had drugs or alcohol in his system at the time. Back to you.
All right, Sean. Well, today, a judge in Myanmar sentenced journalist Danny Fenster to 11 years in prison. The Huntington Woods native was found guilty of 3 charges brought against him by that country's military, which seized control of the government earlier this year. Priya Mann following the story tonight. Priya, this ruling is generating outrage all over the world.
Yeah, that's right, Devin. From human rights and freedom of the press groups, as well as members of the U.S. government, for months, there has been a sustained effort to have Danny released. His lawyer says Danny wept in court today as the sentence was read.
Obviously, the sentencing is a complete sham, and it's a complete sham trial.
A court in military-ruled Myanmar sentenced Huntington Woods native Danny Fenster to 11 years in prison with hard labor. It's the maximum penalty under 3 charges, despite calls by the U.S. government for his release. Representative Andy Levin released a statement saying, "I'm devastated by the news of the sentencing of my constituent, journalist Danny Fenster. Despite Danny's attorney demonstrating evidence to clear him of these charges or any wrongdoing whatsoever, this verdict comes down in a case where there has not been a scintilla of justice." Representative Lisa McClain echoed those frustrations.
And what has happened is shameful. It's horrible. We are working with government officials, foreign government officials, to get him released.
On Friday, the American journalist was found guilty of spreading false or inflammatory information, contacting illegal organizations, and violating visa regulations.
These are all trumped up. It's not a proper display of justice.
The 37-year-old has been in jail since May, a few months after the military took control of Myanmar. At its peak, 100 journalists were detained. About 30 still remain behind bars.
There's virtually no press freedom. At least 8 independent outlets have been banned or have been classed as terrorists.
And in a statement, Representative Levin says Danny now faces even more charges next week. "I know it is hard to remain hopeful at this grim moment, but we must and will keep working to bring Danny home." A spokesperson for the family said they are too devastated to speak tonight. We will, of course, continue to follow this story. Reporting live in Detroit, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Grim moment is right. All right, Priya. Dearborn's chief calls them urban terrorists.
A suspected carjacking ring busted by the feds, and they say this group was after some very specific cars.
And it's one of Detroit's busiest bus stops. New here at 5, the plan to transform the state fairground stop into something that is a lot more than just a couple of shelters. Grant.
Hundreds of students here at Bloomfield Hills High School leave the classroom this afternoon to protest a recent string of racist incidents. Coming up, what they're demanding from school administrators.